President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi instructed on Tuesday that incentives are intensified to encourage vehicles owners to use natural gas instead of fuel. The President also urged the application of programs designed to replace old cars by new ones running on natural gas is considered, adding that this project is meant to offer savings for citizens and provide them a chance to own new cars. The President's remarks came during his meeting on Tuesday with Prime Minister Dr. Mustafa Madbouli and Minister of Petroleum and Mineral Resources, Engineer Tariq al-Mullah, to follow up on the implementation of the national project to expand the use of natural gas. Presidential Cabinet spokesman Ambassador Bassem Radi said that the President also directed that new fueling stations using natural gas are established nationwide along international standards. During the meeting, President al-Sisi was briefed also over ways of using natural gas to secure sustainable resources of energy, in addition to rationalize fuel consumption, as well as preserve the environment and make use of the country's plentiful natural gas production. Prime Minister Mustafa Madbouli reviewed on Tuesday efforts by the Medicine Authority to provide all medicines included in COVID-19 protocols that have been pumped into the local market since last October. The data was provided in a report presented by the Cabinet's medical advisor, Dr. Hussein Mustafa. The Prime Minister also reviewed a report over the Egyptian PMI for last October. The head of the Information Center and Decision-Making Center said the value of the Egyptian PMI for October has risen to 51.4 points from 50.4 points in September. The Health Ministry reported new 189 coronavirus cases and 13 deaths on Tuesday. Prime Minister Dr. Mustafa Madbouli inspected on Tuesday the development and rehabilitation works of the Egyptian Historical Postal Museum in Atabad district, downtown. During the tour, the Prime Minister said that Egypt has one of the oldest postal establishments in the world, adding that we must not forget the long history of this ancient institution. Madbouli assured that the museum will be a real addition for Egyptian students to enrich their information about the history of communications and postal in Egypt. Accompanied the Prime Minister were Minister of Communications and Information Technology Amr Talat and Cairo Governor Khaled Abdel. Health Minister Hala Zaid reviewed with the Chinese ambassador to Egypt the ongoing Phase 3 clinical trials of a Chinese COVID-19 vaccine candidate. The ministry's spokesman, Khalid Mujahid, said the meeting also probed cooperation with China along the International Chinese Initiative, which seeks to facilitate a safe passage of individuals between different countries at times of the pandemic. The spokesman added the minister called for holding a joint bilateral committee to review all technical aspects of the initiative ahead of its referral to the Egyptian Prime Minister. The vaccine candidate is nearing the end of the trials on the frontline workers in several other countries, mainly the United Arab Emirates, Bahrain and Jordan. Egyptians abroad resumed on Tuesday printing ballots for the parliamentary elections vote. The Egyptian expatriates will send their ballots via mail on scheduled days for the voting in the second phase of the elections on the 4th, 5th and 6th of November. Meanwhile, an operation set to follow up the voting process of Egyptian expats started its work. Under the supervision of the Minister of Immigration and Egyptian expatriates, Nabila Makram, the operation room is to answer questions of the voters. The operation room works in cooperation with the National Election Authority. Egyptians are to send their ballots by mail, embassies and consulates instead of voting in person as part of precautionary measures to curb the spread of the coronavirus during the voting process. In the second phase of the parliamentary elections, voters from 13 governorates are to cast their ballots. Legal and technical experts from Egypt, Sudan and Ethiopia have concluded their meetings on Tuesday asked to set a frame of reference on the role of experts to facilitate the Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam talks. They are set to present their reports to their country's irrigation ministers, who will virtually convene on Wednesday. Each country is set to put forward its proposals for the framework that should be established for the upcoming negotiations on the long-running dispute. Egyptian and French naval forces carried out joint exercises in the Mediterranean on Tuesday. The drills were carried out by frigates Toba and Jean Bart and consisted of different sailing formations, evaluation of surface, air and submarine threats, and various scenarios to deal with them. They included several professional training activities such as air defense exercises against various surface threats. The naval training comes as part of the General Command of the Armed Forces plan to raise the combat readiness of the naval forces and exchange military expertise with the armed forces of brotherly and friendly countries. The Foreign Ministry on Tuesday strongly condemned an attack that took place in the Austrian capital Vienna and resulted in the killing and injury of a number of Austrians. The statement expressed support for the government and the people of Austria in the face of the horrendous terrorist attack. The statement reiterated full rejection to all forms of violence, extremism and terrorism crimes, calling for more international efforts to face terrorism in all forms.